didn't think they was going to go after Cubans. We are not the bad people. I vote Trump because he wants to help the people, but this is not right.
So I think when people see Latinos voting for Trump, they see people like him, and they know that a lot of Latinos that are attending these protests aren't calling out family members like him. Latino men voted for Trump in the majority, and it's Latino men like him that showed up at the polls this last election and voted for Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. Nevertheless, Latinos did not vote for Donald Trump. The only Latino community that you see overwhelmingly voting for Donald Trump is the Cuban community. And even amongst Cuban voters, Kamala Harris performed better than Barack Obama performed in his first run for president. She beat him by 1 point. But amongst every other Latino community, from Puerto Ricans to Venezuelans to Mexicans, Latinos voted for Kamala Harris. When black people are saying that they're not going to show up at these protests, they know that people like that, the man in the beginning of this video, exist, and you guys aren't calling them out. But it's starting. You're starting that conversation where you're focusing on Latino content creators that are not talking about the mass deportation. You're realizing that a lot of your favorite content creators that are Latino might have voted for Donald Trump, and you're calling them out, and that's what you should be doing. Before we talk about collective action and standing in solidarity with each other, we have to examine the problematic people within our communities that led to this asshole being elected. A lot of Latino men that are seeing black people saying that they're going to sit this one out, that are forming their mouths to call out black people being problematic, aren't calling out Latino men that voted for Donald Trump. And here's the thing, a lot of these Latino men that voted for Donald Trump, if they could vote for him again and Kamala Harris was running again, they would vote for Donald Trump again. I know the conversation is constantly surrounding racism and anti-blackness, but a lot of this is plain and simple misogyny. A lot of Latino men don't feel that women are deserving of positions of power, and they believe that women should be in the house and taking care of the family. And when they see someone like a Kamala Harris that basically says, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything because I didn't have any kids, and I'm working just as hard as my husband, if not harder than my husband. That, for a lot of these Latino men, threatens them and threatens their power center or power structure that they have created within misogyny. So they see someone like Donald Trump, who they view as strong and powerful, and these are men that have consumed a healthy amount of red pill bullshit. They would still vote for Donald Trump, even at their own detriment. As Donald Trump rounds up their family members, they would still go to the polls and vote for Donald Trump, even at their own detriment. Until we are willing to have that conversation amongst ourselves, leave African Americans, black people out of this conversation. Because, yeah, the community, a large portion, at least 40% of the Latino community help elect this man. And until you can have these conversations with your tios, your padres, your hermanos, then there's really nothing you can talk to black people, specifically African Americans, about when it comes to unity, because you want African Americans to ignore the fact that y'all saw all of this, your family members saw all of the shit that this man had in store. Actively ignore the mass deportation now signs. Actively ignore that KKK rally where the people were literally applauding Puerto Rico being called a floating island of garbage. And they still voted for him. We need to have a conversation within the community before we start lecturing people about unity.